Let's have a seat and get centered in this morning. Finding that nice, comfortable, aligned seat. Really feel your sit bones connecting to the ground. Lift up to the crown of the head. Relax your shoulders. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And a big exhale through your mouth. Kind of signaling to your body that now is the time for yoga. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that, and just take this opportunity to tune into your body, every single part of it. As you're feeling into muscles, joints, organs, all parts of you, I want you to start breathing a deep, slow Ujjayi breath. Begin to notice the speed and quality of your thoughts. Notice any emotions. Notice your energy. And then let's bring palms together in front of the heart and just pause to set our personal intentions for practice. When you're clear on your intention, take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. We're going to come up to standing on the front of the mat. Just getting rooted in Tadasana. So spread your toes, plant your heels. Make sure your weight is evenly distributed between left foot, right foot, front of the foot, back of the foot. Hips are over heels, shoulders are over hips, ears are over shoulders. Palms together in front of the heart. Remind yourself of your intention today. And then inhale, reach the arms up, lift your chest, look up. Hold this for 2 more breaths, posture of joy. On your next exhale, bend your knees, fold forward, and hang in ragdoll. Let your neck relax, let your spine lengthen. And then go ahead and plant your hands beside your feet. We'll look up and lengthen. And then back down. We're going to step back with the left foot. Nice deep lunge. And just hold it for a moment. Really feel what's going on in your hips here. So as you're here, just sort of breathing and seeing how the body's doing this morning. Just make sure that your right shin is vertical. You're trying to straighten the left leg and let the hips drop all at the same time, all within reason, whatever your body will allow this morning. We're going to go ahead and drop the left knee down. I want you to take your right hand onto the inside of your right knee. Roll to the outside edge of the foot and gently apply some pressure so that you can feel right outer hip, maybe that right inner thigh. Go ahead and fully extend your right leg, flex the ankle and toes, getting into your right hamstring and perhaps even the right calf. Bend the right knee again, bring the arms up and overhead. Pelvis tilts back slightly, rib cage lifts up, and we take the hips forward. Trying to find sensation in the front of that left hip, left thigh. Hands are going to come down inside your right foot. Keep your left knee down for now. Come onto the left forearm, maybe the right. You can always use a block if you need to. I want you to try and hug your right knee in towards your torso or towards your right shoulder. Take one more breath like that. Then walk your right foot over to the edge of the mat. Rotate the right foot out slightly and let that right knee drop open. And see how that feels. It should feel a little bit like when we pressed on our knee. Come back up onto your hands and just take that right leg back to plank position. Hold your plank for a moment. Get your core engaged and awake. We always want the core to join us. Take one more breath here. And then we'll modify this first time down. Drop down knees, chest, and chin. Untuck the toes. Lift your heart up halfway for a low cobra. And then downward facing dog. And of course, you may pedal the feet a little bit here if you need to. And then just find some stillness. And spinal length. Left foot steps forward. We're going to hold this lunge and double check while we're here that we're aligned properly, that the left shin is vertical. In other words, your left knee is over your left heel or ankle. As much as you can, you're trying to straighten the right leg while you allow the hips to drop down towards the mat so that you're feeling something really in both sides. Drop your right knee down, put the left hand on the inside of the left knee, roll to the outside edge of your left foot, and apply some pressure, getting into left outer hip, left inner thigh. Go ahead and fully extend your left leg. Flex that left ankle and the left toes. Go ahead and bend your left knee. Bring the arms up and overhead. Tilt your pelvis back, lift your rib cage, sink your hips forward. Allow the hips to move forward until you feel that stretch on the front of your right thigh, right hip. And then go ahead and bring both hands down inside your left foot. We're going to keep the right knee down for now. Come on to right forearm, maybe even left, using a block if you need to. Initially, I want you to hug your left inner thigh in towards your left shoulder, and your left foot is parallel to the long sides of the mat. This is opening up the glute a little bit. Then walk your left foot over to the left side of the mat and rotate it out slightly and let that left leg drop open. Now it feels more like when we were working outer and inner thigh by pressing on the knee. Come back up onto your hands and just step forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up, reach. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Look up halfway. Exhale, back down. Step back with your right foot. So you've got a left foot forward lunge. Nice deep lunge. Gaze forward. Begin to straighten your left leg. So we're just getting a little deeper into that left hamstring. Bend your left knee, bring the arms up and overhead. Try and tilt the pelvis back a little bit and allow the hips to drop a little closer to the mat. Hands down on the inside of your left foot. If you can, keep that right knee up this time. Coming onto right forearm, perhaps both. And then walk your left foot over to the left side of the mat. Let the foot rotate out. And then here's the fun part. If you can, come up onto your hands. Rotate left foot all the way out and come onto the outside edge of your right foot and allow your hips to sink. Left arm is either reaching for the ceiling or reaching in front of the left shin. And rotate back around, step your left foot back to plank position and take your vinyasa. From here, we step forward with the right foot, coming into that nice lunge, checking alignment if you need to. Then fully extend your right leg, getting a little deeper into the right hamstring. Bend your right knee, arms come up and overhead. Pelvis tilts, the hips begin to drop. We're going to take both hands down inside the right foot. Come on to your left forearm, perhaps the right. So just like we did the first time we went through this, you want to kind of try and keep right foot parallel to long sides of the mat. That right inner thigh is hugging up against that right shoulder. Now, go ahead and walk your right foot to the edge of the mat, rotate it out slightly. Let that hip open a little. This should feel quite different. The emphasis is very different. And then if you can, we come back up onto the hands. Your right foot's going to finish rotating a full 90 degrees to the right. You're going to come to the outside edge of your left foot. Keep your left leg straight. Allow the hips to sink. Right hand can either reach for the ceiling or in front of the right shin. You should be feeling this in your right hip, by the way. Rotate back around, step forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale and look up halfway. And exhale, back down. You're going to step back with your left foot. Spin that heel flat and come up into a right foot forward, warrior two. Take a breath here. Make sure your alignment feels good. And then I'm going to challenge you to scoot your right foot farther forward. And sink a little deeper. Maintaining proper alignment with that right leg. So you should be starting to feel this if you're actually challenging yourself. You're feeling it in the outer hips and thighs. Go ahead and straighten your right leg. Lengthen the rib cage to the right for a really nice, long, extended triangle. And this may be a little exciting because it's still pretty early in the practice. Be mindful of your alignment. Be mindful of your ego trying to make you go somewhere you don't need to go. Maybe it's not time to get the hands to the floor yet. Maybe it is. But just be honest with what your body's willing to do right now. Come on back up. Keep your right leg straight. Left hand on left thigh. Right arm up and over. It's like a variation on a reverse warrior without the right knee bent. And we're doing that because we're going to come back up. Rotate the right foot in slightly. Keep your right heel flat. Begin to bend into your right knee, taking left toes toward the ceiling. Only go as far as you can. So you can see I'm not all the way down here, but if you can, You go ahead and let your backside hit your right calf. Left toes to the ceiling. You may keep your hands on the floor. You may keep your hands on your thighs. So Skandasana. And from here, I want you to just rotate around, drop your left knee down, and take your right foot over to the left side of the mat for pigeon. Take a couple of breaths. Come back up onto your hands, shoot that right leg straight back, bend the knee, roll your hip bone open, downward facing scorpion, and then drop your right foot to the mat, shift into plank, and take a vinyasa. From here, we're gonna step left foot forward. Go ahead and spin your right heel flat. Come up into a left foot forward, warrior two. Take a moment, find your alignment. Then I'm gonna challenge you, scoot that left foot farther forward. Take your warrior two deeper. You should feel challenged here. Outer hips should feel very turned on. Straighten your left leg. Lengthen your torso to the left. Find triangle pose. Again, be mindful of not trying to go too far too fast. So a lot of times we get caught up in our head and we think we should be in a certain place with our practice or our poses should look a certain way. Nothing could be farther from the truth. It's all about how does your body feel right now in this moment. No other practice matters. Come on up. Keep your left leg straight. Right hand on right thigh, left arm up and over. As you come up, rotate your left foot in slightly. Keep your left heel flat. Very important. Right toes are going to rotate up towards the ceiling. Support yourself on your thighs, on the floor, or you can have your hands in prayer. So this is Skandasana. You should be feeling a right inner thigh stretch. Hands to the mat, rotate back around, drop your right knee down, walk that left foot over, and come into pigeon for a couple of breaths here. Come back up onto your hands, shoot that left leg straight up and back, bending the knee, rolling the hip open, downward facing scorpion. Left foot back on the mat so you can shift into plank and flow through a vinyasa. From this downward facing dog, you can either walk or jump forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Turn sideways, take a nice wide side step. Toes should be pointing directly forward. Hinge at your hips. I don't really care what you do with your arms here, doesn't matter. We're trying to get the spine to lengthen and the legs to be straight. So you can grab your big toes. You can have your hands on the floor. You can even interlace your fingers behind your back. You do whatever you like. We're here for 3 more breaths, lengthening the spine. And then I want you to go ahead, if your hands are not on the floor, get them to the floor. Take the feet wider. Take a couple breaths. And then one more time, if you can go wider, go wider. I want you to go to what feels like your limit this morning, not any other practice, just today. And then from here, we're going to transition into frog, Bakasana. So you go pretty quickly so that your knees are happy, but the idea is you should not be on your knees. Your legs should be wide enough that you are actually on your inner thigh. Drop a knee down and immediately flex the foot and bring the foot directly behind you and do the other knee without allowing them to sneak any closer together. So if I look behind me, My calves are parallel and my feet are sticking out to the sides. Everything's at 90 degrees. Hips are 90, knees are 90, feet are 90, okay? Then you come onto your elbows and you don't go forward, you push your bum back towards the heels. You should feel a very exciting sensation in your inner thighs and groin. So you breathe. Two more breaths. Buns are pushing back towards the heels. Inner thighs and groins are saying good morning. Now, from here, you come back up onto your hands. Just bring your knees together. Reorient yourself on your mat and take a quick child's pose. Allow everything that just lengthened to shorten. And then transition into plank and take a vinyasa. From this downward facing dog, you can either walk or jump forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart. So we're opening up inner thigh and groin, turning on and strengthening outer hip and thigh. So beautiful balance pose to really utilize that is tree pose, Vrikshasana. So we're going to stand on the right foot first. Your left foot can be wherever you need it. It can be on the calf, it can be at the knee, as long as you're not pushing against the knee, it can be up in the thigh. But here's the deal, I want you to focus on the outer hip on your left leg. So your left knee is very strongly pressing back behind you. You're getting that inner thigh opening, left outer hip activation. Lift your heart, bring your palms together. Focus on keeping that left leg really open. One more breath. And put your left foot back down. So if you are active in that tree pose, you're really feeling that left outer hip now. It's not passive. You're really staying focused on keeping muscles contracted. So now we're standing on the left foot. We bring the right foot up wherever it needs to be. And then you let that right knee strongly press out to the side or to the back. So right now, right outer hip is very turned on. Two more breaths on this side. Stay with it. And release your right foot down. Nice job, you guys. Feet together, palms together at the front of the mat. Take a big inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, back down. You can either walk or jump back to plank. Take your vinyasa. Really lengthen, lengthen, lengthen in your downward facing dog. And then step your right foot forward, spin your left heel flat, and come back up into your warrior two. So we're going to revisit a couple things and see how the body's doing. Just take a moment, find your alignment in your warrior two. Right outer hip really turned on. Scoot your right foot forward a little bit, challenge yourself, go deeper. Maintain that now as you take left hand on left thigh, right arm up and over, true reverse warrior. That right outer hip stays very engaged. That right knee is pressing towards the little toe. You're challenging yourself this morning. Come on back up, straighten your right leg, lengthen your rib cage. Out, to the right. Find your triangle again, noticing if it's any different, but being very honest in your body. Such a truthfulness. Where does your body want to go today? From here, go ahead and bring your left hand down, lengthen out over your right leg. Stretch. Now from here, your hands are already on the ground, so you can kind of stabilize yourself. Rotate that right foot in a little. Keep your right heel flat and start bending into your right knee. So hands can stay down if you need to, or palms can come together into prayer position. Skandasana. Hands back on the mat, rotate your feet, drop your left knee, walk that right foot over. Let's do pigeon number 2. Take a couple breaths. Step it straight back to a 3-legged dog, right leg in the air. Bend your right knee, roll your hip bone open, and then put your right foot down and take your vinyasa. After you've lengthened your spine in your downward facing dog, left foot forward, right foot flat. Come on up, warrior 2. Time to revisit this left side. Take a moment, find your alignment. Keep that left hip turned on. Scoot your left foot forward. Let the hips go deeper. Challenge yourself. Maintain that really active left outer hip as you do your reverse warrior. Right hand, right thigh, left arm up and over. Come all the way back up. Straighten your left leg. Lengthen out for your triangle pose. Remember, honesty, truthfulness, mindfulness in your body. Keep the alignment correct. Pay attention to sensations. We're just going to bring this right hand down, lengthen out over that left leg. Hands are already on the mat. Left foot's going to rotate in a little bit. You're going to start bending into that left knee. Remember, your left heel is flat. Hands can stay on the ground or palms together. Skandasana number 2. Right toes should be pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Hands to the mat, rotate back around, drop your right knee down, walk that left foot over, pigeon number 2. Just a couple breaths here, letting that outer hip stretch out. And then hands to the mat, shoot that left leg straight back, 3-legged dog. Bend your left knee, roll your hip open, downward facing scorpion. Left foot down, shift into plank, and take your vinyasa. From here, we're going to either walk or jump the feet forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms together. Turn sideways on your mat again. Moderately wide stance, toes rotating out a certain amount, whatever is appropriate for your knees. So we've done a lot of stuff, opening up the inner thighs, turning on the outer hips. You're going to use that as we go into a goddess squat. We're just going to be pressing our arms straight out to the side. What is important is that as you bend your knees, you're trying to get your shins vertical, and we're very actively pushing the knees out or back. So your outer hips are going to be very turned on. So start dropping your tailbone and try not to lean forward. We want to stay vertical here. Arms are out to the side. Knees are bending. Knees are strongly pressing back. Outer hips are very turned on. Breathe. Couple more breaths. You can do it. Ujjayi breathing helps. Go ahead and come on up, relax the arms, take your heels out. So now you're in that wide stance, toes pointing forward. You've been here before today too. Hinge at your hips, either grabbing elbows and hanging, or you can bring hands or arms to the floor or to your feet, whatever makes you happy. Couple of breaths here. Again, keeping the outer hip really turned on so that inner thigh can continue to stretch. And then go ahead and bring your hands back to the mat. Toe heel your feet in. Take a big inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, come back to the front of the mat, feet together, palms together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, back down. Either walk or jump back to plank and take your final vinyasa. Make sure you're getting full back body stretch in your downward facing dog. In other words, not only are the hips moving back, but the heels are pressing down. You can either walk or jump forward and have a seat in Dandasana. So staff pose, legs extended, you're on your sit bones, your spine is straight, legs are very active, head is balanced on top of your spine. You're just doing a quick check. How's everything feeling? How's your breath? Thoughts, emotions, energy, all that stuff. How's it going? And then of course, we're gonna take the legs wide. Make sure you're on your sit bones, so important here. So if you have to, you can hold yourself onto your sit bones by having your hands behind you, keeping your spine straight and staying up on those sit bones and just taking the chest forward. Keeping legs active and toes pointing straight up, you should get something here. If you have more flexibility, you are welcome to bring the arms in front of you or even grab the big toes, whatever's happiest for you. You can even interlace your fingers behind your back. But we're going to be lengthening the torso forward, imagining that if anything hit the ground, it would be our stomach and our throat. So we want length in the spine, not rounding, keeping legs very active, and then we simply breathe. Two more breaths. Walk your hands back up. And here's what I'd like you to do. It's almost going to look like that goddess stretch that we did, or like we're doing frog from a seated position. You're going to bend your knees and have them at 90 degrees out to the sides. Shins are parallel, feet are flexed. So you kind of have this seated frog. And I want you to grab the inside arches of your feet. You could also think of this almost as like a seated dead bug, right? Except our feet are externally rotated. Excuse me, lift your chest. and literally pull against the arches of your feet to pull your rib cage forward. Keep your gaze forward, don't look down. We're not trying to round the back. And then if you can actually use your elbows on the shins or inner thighs to press those legs out as you're leaning forward. Come on up from that, bring the soles of the feet together. Heels can come in a little bit, but you don't have to really forcefully snug them in. Hands right behind your backside, straight spine. Press the knees out to the side and then strongly contract outer hip to make the knees reach down towards the floor. Keep the soles of the feet together, slide them way out in front of you. Reach out, clasp the feet or ankles, and nestle your rib cage down between your thighs. Come on up from that, extend your legs back out in front of you, wiggle them, and then just take a quick seated forward bend, Paschimottanasana. Just extend out over both legs. Come on up from that, roll onto your back. Hug your knees in, rock side to side. And then just keep your right knee hugged in, extend your left leg all the way out onto the ground. So we're gonna come into just the right half of dead bug. Your right arm should be on the inside of your right knee or thigh. You're getting the arch of the right foot, vertically stacking ankle over knee. In other words, your lower leg should be perfectly straight up and down. It should be vertical. And then you actually pull on the arch of the foot to try and get that knee towards the floor. Take a couple of breaths. And then we're just gonna do the right half of a reclined frog. So here's what I'd like you to do. Take your hand off your foot. Keep your right ankle flexed. Keep your knee at 90 degrees, but push it down so that your hip is at 90 degrees. And let that right leg drop open. And the goal is to not let anything touch the floor. So no lazy dropping of the foot, etc. Right ankle is flexed. Right knee and hip are at 90 degrees. Your left glute is firmly planted. And you're trying to keep your right leg completely in the air for a couple more breaths. Bring that right leg back up, hug it in, go ahead and transition into a twist. Right arm out to the right leg crosses the body as you twist to the left, head turns to the right. Come back up, hug your right knee in. Bring your left knee up to meet it, rock side to side. Keep left knee hugged in, extend right leg all the way out onto the ground. Your left arm is going to come to the inside of your left thigh and leg. Left foot flexes, you grab the arch of your left foot with your left hand. Lower leg is completely perpendicular to the floor. You're trying to pull straight down with your left hand. You feel this in your left hamstring, left inner thigh, all that good stuff that we've been doing already. Couple breaths here. And we're going to release the left foot. Keep the left ankle flexed. Knee stays at 90. Hip goes to 90 degrees. So you may need to lower your leg a little bit. Right glute stays planted. Left leg opens out to the left. So it's the left half of a frog. Keep your left knee and left foot in the air. We're not trying to be lazy and drop anything down. It's an isometric contraction, right? So that left outer hip is working, but so is the inner thigh, right? So strength in a lengthened position. That's the definition of flexibility. One more breath here. And then just bring that leg up and over, transitioning into a twist, twisting to the right, left arm opening out to the left. Just taking a few breaths here. On your next inhale, come on back up. As you exhale, hug your left knee in. Bring your right knee up to meet it, rock side to side. We're just gonna take basic bridge pose this morning for our inversion. So feet are flat, big toes are touching, heels are separated. And up you go, lift your hips. On your next exhale, lower back down, hug your knees in, rock side to side. Couple more moves and then you get to go into relaxation. So what I'd like for you to do while your legs are still up in the air is bring the soles of the feet together and reach down and grab the outside edges of your feet. So with the soles of the feet together, open the knees up a little bit and pull your feet down towards your throat or your face. You might feel this in the outer hips. You might feel it a little bit in the sacrum. You might feel it in both places. And keeping hold of the outside edges of the feet. Take just your right leg as far out to the right as you can. Maybe it straightens, maybe it doesn't. Bring it back in. Left leg as far out to the left as you can. Maybe it straightens, maybe it doesn't. It's okay. Bring it back in and continuing to hang on to the outside edges of your feet. Try and take your legs into a really nice wide V. So if the legs aren't straight, you're just trying to straighten them. And if they are straight, you're trying to pull your feet a little closer to the floor. 2 more breaths. Good. Hug your knees in. And then I'd like you to put your feet outside the edges of your mat. So you have a wide stance with your knees bent. We're going to do our rhythmic breathing here, and then eventually hold this outer hip stretch. So your outer hips and outer thighs have worked really hard. This is kind of giving them some love. Keeping your feet wide as you exhale, drop both knees to the right. Breathe slowly, you'll have more time. As you inhale, bring both knees up, and as you exhale, drop them both to the left. You should feel it on your right outer hip and thigh. Inhale, legs up, and just keep going. Keep your feet nice and wide. Breathe really slowly. So we're going to do 2 more times on each side. And then the third time, we're going to hold it. So the next time that your knees drop to the right, I want you to let them stay there. If it feels okay, you can pick your right foot up and put it on top of your left knee. Right foot back outside the mat, knees come up, drop both knees to the left. If you like, left foot can lift and go on top of right knee. Take left foot off of right knee, prop your knees together with the feet still wide. So your feet are outside the edges of the mat. Your knees are propping together. You're feeling one more nice outer hip stretch. And then you're gonna walk your feet in until they're together. Drop the knees open, soles of the feet together. Take a deep breath in, flatten your low back. So just lengthening low back muscles. The next time you breathe out, relax. One more time, we're going to inhale and flatten the back. Exhale and release. And extend your legs. Separate your feet. Wiggle a little if you need to make sure inner thighs and hips are totally relaxed. Make sure your glutes are soft. Your back is long, your neck is long, your shoulders are relaxed, your jaw is relaxed, eyes are closed. Deep breath in. Big exhale through the mouth. Just let your body settle into Shavasana. As your body settles in, your breath also settles, which basically means it becomes quieter, softer, shallower, and more even. So Shavasana, corpse pose. We are supposed to be as relaxed as if we were dead. So zero tension in the body. But it means that we also exist purely in the present moment. Everything that came before, dead, done, past. No concern about the future, no worries. Just right now, right here. So it's as though we die and are reborn in every moment. And when you can come to that type of awareness, dying and being reborn in every single moment, everything is fresh and new in every moment. And what that means is you can meet it without judgment. No preconceived ideas, no expectations, no ideas of, oh, this is how this has always been. There is no always, there is only now. And so as you lie here in Shavasana, I'd like you to really practice that, being born fresh and new in every single moment, simply being aware and present in every single moment without any judgment or preconceived notions. If you find your mind trying to get your attention, the ego clamoring for you to look at it. In other words, if you start thinking, analyzing, judging, remembering, projecting, any of those things, that's okay, you're human. Just acknowledge it and then just come back to being fresh and new in every moment. Begin to feel back into your body. Just noticing. Begin to move fingers and toes a little bit. Start to deepen your breath. When you're ready, take a deeper inhale. Spread your fingers and toes, and then exhale through the mouth and relax them. Deeper breath in and stretch. Exhale and relax. Bend your knees, however that feels good for you, whether that means hugging them into the chest or just letting them rest on the ground. And then when you're ready, roll to your right side and press yourself up into sitting. So as you come to your seated position, make sure, pardon me, that you can lengthen your abdomen a little bit. We're going to be doing Kapalabhati breathing for our pranayam, and we're going to be doing 2 rounds. So Kapalabhati breathing, just a reminder, forceful abdominal contraction to press the air out. You relax the abdomen. It's a very passive inhale. The air will simply rush in on its own accord, and you simply press it out again by contracting the abdomen. In order to do it properly, you have to have length in the abdomen, because if you're sitting hunched, those muscles are already contracted and you really have nowhere else to go. So if you need to elevate your hips, please do so. If you've been doing this for a while, you are working up to about an inhale and an exhale per second. If that still seems excessively fast for you, or if you can't control the muscles at that speed, I urge you to go slow enough to do the breath properly rather than just kind of like hyperventilating. So, straight spine, lengthened abdomen. We're going to do 2 rounds of this, and in between them, we'll inhale, take the arms up, spread the fingers, and hold our breath for a 3 count, and then bring it back down before we do the second round. Okay, so that's enough talk. Lengthen your abdomen, lengthen your spine, relax your shoulders. This is all nose breathing, by the way, so let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale completely through the nose. Take another deep breath in. Breathe out half of your air and begin. Big inhale, arms up. Spread the fingers, hold your breath. Exhale, arms float down. Deep breath in. Breathe out half of your air and begin round 2. Big inhale, arms up. Spread the fingers, hold your breath. Exhale, float your arms down. Let the hands rest on the knees or thighs. Find comfortable, steady, straight alignment. Close the eyes again if you had opened them. I want you to just take a moment and sit for a couple of moments in stillness and silence, observing your body, observing your breath, observing any thoughts or emotions, and also kind of noticing what your energy is like. So in our achievement-oriented Western lives, we often think about our yoga practice as being this physical exercise or stretching or, purely achievement and goal-oriented physical practice. And the truth is, all of that is just a stepping stone to this right here, right now, sitting in stillness and silence, undisturbed and undistracted by the body, by the passing thoughts, by the passing emotions. Simply resting in the stillness and channeling the energy that we've created. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Taking a moment in gratitude. There are always a multitude of things to be grateful for. This morning, let's have some gratitude for this practice. It's at least 5,000 years old. The fact that it's still here today is due to the fact that not only it works and it's valuable, but that so many people have carried this oral tradition forward. I personally am exceptionally grateful for every yogi that came before me. In other words, my teacher and my teacher's teacher and his teacher, and so on and so forth, all the way back to the origins of the practice. Probably now more than ever, we need these balancing, calming, strengthening, centering practices. So gratitude today for yoga. Take one more huge inhale through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Palms to the forehead, reminding us just to be present. Palms to the lips, reminding us to speak our truth. Palms to the heart, reminding us to keep our hearts open, to always be kind, compassionate, and loving.
Thank you for joining me this morning. Namaste.